Well, hello everyone. I'm Jennifer Johnson. Welcome to my show this week. I can't believe it's already, well, maybe I'm not supposed to tell them just in case they're out in fantasy world and they don't know what day or when this is. You might be wondering, who is this? It's Jennifer Johnson. I'm Jennifer to the Rescue, and you can see jennifertotherescue.com. And I am so excited. I'm your lyrical appreciation expert. It's starting to really roll off my tongue now. What do? I help you celebrate and connect with those people and those relationships in your life. And we talk about that every week. I'm all about it. And part of it is giving back and thanking my sponsors, the Logan Street Banners. No, signs and banners. Okay. Anyway, but we're here in the lovely Wofford Theater. And I'm here with my lovely guest. I use that word a lot, but you know what? This time of year, lovely works. And my lovely guest is Deb Clark, and she is a mortgage consultant, also a good friend of mine. Mortgage consultant with Salin Bank. And, you know, there's a lot of probably some questions right off the bat, but you know what? They can see your contact information. Just got to keep reminding them that. But tell us about Deb Clark. Come on, Deb Clark.
Well, first of all, thank you for inviting me.
Sure.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. We're glad to have you.
Well, Deb Clark is a mortgage banker with Salin Bank, and Salin Bank is a privately owned bank in Indiana. That's a very rare combination.
Right.
But it is owned by the Salin family, William Salin and his family. And we are throughout the state of Indiana. So I am stationed at the branch at 116th and Allisonville in Fishers, and our corporate office is located at Keystone at the Crossing.
Okay, so how many different branch? Do you know how many banks there are, like throughout the state? Do you have any?
No, you didn't tell me to be prepared.
No, that's okay. You know what? I was just thinking that I know there's one up in Lafayette.
Yes.
Because I met another lady.
I believe we have 27 branches throughout the state. Yes,
okay.
We have quite a few branches.
So it's not only is it unusual to be the privately owned family bank thing, but they've got quite a few of them. They are doing well.
They do. And the other feature of Salin Bank that is highly unusual is we are the first bank with a live teller machine. So when you come into our branch, you do not walk into the traditional teller. You walk into a machine that looks like an ATM. You press the screen, and a live teller comes on, and you can make your check deposits, your cash deposits. You don't receive your typical 520s back. If you want to get $17.52 back, you can get $17.52 back.
Very cool. So Salin Bank, and don't they have like a boat sailing?
Yes.
And that's cool.
We are not employees. We are crew members.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. I will admit, when I first started there, I was reading the employee handbook, and I was thinking, what is a crew member? And someone finally said, well, you're not an employee, you're a crew member.
I think that's very cool. That's very cool. And so Deb Clark, though, has a whole world that's not related to Salin Bank. But how did you end up? Tell us about Deb Clark. I want to know more about. I know Deb Clark very well. She's a good friend. Well, I think I do. No, I'm just kidding. She's actually a very good friend of mine, but I know that there are probably people wondering, how did you end up? First of all, tell us how you ended up in the mortgage world.
Oh, I don't know that you want to know
well, you don't
story.
have to tell the whole story, but then you could tell us about, well, we've got a lot of things we've got to talk about, so go ahead.
Let's see. Let me tell you some of my interest. And then that will lead me into how did I get started into the mortgage world.
Good way to do it.
All right. I had been an executive assistant for chairman of a board and CEO for many years. And I remarried. I had been married before. I remarried and became a stay-at-home mom. Part of being a stay-at-home mom was I played a lot of tennis, you know, had lunch with the girlfriends, went walking, did all the volunteered for school activities, did all of that stuff. One day, it was decided I should go back to work.
It was decided.
It was decided. We'll leave it at that. And so I found this little ad in the Northside Topics, if you remember the Northside Topics paper. And I can almost tell you for verbatim what it said. It said, mortgage processor needed / assistant. No experience necessary. Will train. And here was the clincher for me. Can work from home.
Oh.
So I'm like, great, I don't have to go out and buy a new wardrobe and, you know, to go to work and what have you. So I went to work for a gentleman that I found out was a mortgage broker. And we'll go through some of these differences in a little bit. But he was a broker. We went to work for a bank as mortgage. He was the originator and I went as his assistant. He decided not to stay there, but I liked it there. And so I went to the regional vice president and said, you know, he's going to leave, but I like it here. Do you have anything I could do? Now, I had only been doing that for about 4 months, so I'm thinking maybe I could be trained to be a processor, I could answer the phone, whatever. And this wise woman said, why don't you originate mortgages? And of course, my first response was, are you kidding? I don't know how to do that. I don't know anyone. And she says, what do you think you've been doing? So she put me under her wing. She taught me the mortgage business. As you can tell, I have the gift of gab, so I could talk to anybody. And as they say, the rest was history. So,
and that was all in Indiana?
Yes, that was here in Indianapolis.
Okay,
so,
Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So you are originally from this area?
Not originally, but I've lived here most of my life.
Most of your life. So that, and then you were working for not Salin Bank at that time?
No.
So
no.
this, okay. So so you went from that position to where? What did you do?
I was with Colonial National Mortgage
at
that time.
Okay.
And they were a bank based out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Texas.
Okay, so are they still around?
Mm-mm.
No, okay, because it's not a name.
They're around, but not in Indiana.
Okay. Yeah, and you talking about the differences of a broker and a bank and a consultant and a company and all these things. We're going to definitely talk about that for sure, and we're gonna first make sure everybody can. How would they? Things are really good right now in the mortgage world and Salin Bank, aren't they?
Things are excellent right now. There's a couple of reasons why. Rates are awesome right now, and I know some people say, you know, I've got a 30-year fixed. I have a great rate. Maybe you should look at that 15-year fixed that's got an even better rate.
Yes.
You might be surprised that you would end up paying approximately the same amount of money every month, but you are going to shave a lot of years off of that. You don't have to do a 15, you can do a 10, you can do a 20.
Right. So if they call Deb at, well, the phone number's up there, 317-506-7229. They could also email you at d.clark@salinbank.com.
No, d.clark@salin.com.
What did I say? Salin. Oh, yes,
Yeah.
right.
Leave
Okay,
off the
well,
bank.
we're going to come back in just a minute, and we'll tell you more why they need to call you.
That sounds good.
All right. Be right back.
All right.
When Margaret and I decided to sell the old estate here, we had only one choice in signage. Logan Street signs and banners. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore, but rather located on 10th Street on the south side of Noblesville. Well, we sold the old beauty, and we were able to buy this wonderful estate. And we had so much money left over, I was able to buy this beautiful 1968 Eldorado Cadillac for Margaret. Only 472,000 miles. Margaret loves it because it's got those big seats and that heavy-duty suspension to support her svelte frame. Next time you're looking for signs or banners, call old Jim at Logan Street Signs and Banners, 773-7200. Conveniently not located on Logan Street anymore.
We are back. Those go so quick. We have too much fun on this set.
We do.
Everybody needs to come and join Jennifer to the rescue. Jennifer to the rescue. Jennifer Johnson. And I want to thank one more time my wonderful sponsors, Logan Street Signs and Banners, and we're here at the Wofford Theater. And if you've not been to the Wofford Theater, you need to come into the Wofford Theater. A lot going on.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's wonderful. And the park movies and everything else, all the great things that they do out of this location is wonderful. I'm here with my lovely guest. What's another word I can use? My awesome guest, Deb Clark with Salin Bank. And before we were talking about that you are a mortgage consultant, but there are a lot of people that are in the mortgage world. Tell us the differences.
The three prominent, I guess you would say, areas
Right.
of mortgage would be a bank, a mortgage company, and then a mortgage broker. I think those are the most common ones that people are aware
Okay.
of. So just to make you a little bit aware of the difference, obviously a bank, not all banks do mortgages, believe it or not. Some banks make mortgages available, but then they don't service those mortgages. In other words, you come in, you see a person at the bank for your mortgage, you close your mortgage, and they immediately sell it to someone else.
Right. Done that.
Some banks service mortgages. They may service all of them that they close. They may only service a portion of them. They may only service certain products. And I'm sure they have other criteria for determining which ones they're going to service. And a bank does not do mortgages just for their clients. So for example, if you're not a client of Salin Bank, you're still more than welcome to come to Salin
that's a
Bank
good
and do
thing.
your mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't have to just be a client of Salin Banks to do your mortgage at Salin. The second type of availability for mortgages would be a mortgage company. This is a company that they have funds so that they can fund their own mortgages. But they don't offer any banking products. They're not affiliated with a bank. They're not going to make available to you a checking account or a savings account or CDs or what have you. They strictly do mortgages, and that's it. Again, they service some, they sell some mortgages. They're not going to talk to you about an auto loan. So you can't say, well, I've got my mortgage here. I'd like to do my auto loan here. They're strictly mortgages, and that's it. And then the third type is a mortgage broker. A mortgage broker has a company that they work for, but then they may write mortgages for 5, 6, 7 different companies. So they're going to shop different companies for you rather than you going out and doing that yourself. Some people would say, well, that's the best deal because they're going to be shopping around for me.
Right.
Not necessarily. They are in business to make money just like everyone else is.
Like everybody else.
Yes.
Right.
And I'm speaking, I was a broker for a year, so I'm not bad-mouthing brokers. There's a time and a place for a broker. But, for example, if you go in to see a broker, they're going to pull your credit, and then whoever they send your file to look at, they're going to pull it too. So you're going to have a lot of credit pulls for mortgage.
Right.
Okay. So they have different criteria that they use. Brokers come to banks. So, for example, broker A may write for Salin Bank. Broker B may write for Chase Bank.
Right.
So what happens is they may have additional credit requirements or requirements on the property that the person who works at the bank doesn't have. So because they're not employees of the bank, they don't have control over them, and therefore they have to make sure that everything that comes in is really copacetic and meets all the requirements. So those are the three areas that you're going to find in the mortgage world. So, and I'm sure some people have used banks, they've used mortgage companies, they've used brokers. So there's not one that's right, there's not one that's wrong. There's plenty of business out there for everyone, and it just depends on what your situation and what your needs are.
So when somebody comes to you, and I know that you're in the bank, you're there, but you also go out and do things all over. Somebody comes to you, you don't have to, I mean, I didn't tell you to prepare this, obviously, but what is the, I mean, they work with you. You mentioned this morning you're actually able to and I don't want you to put any, you don't have to give it any numbers or anything, but you're actually bettering a person's situation on their mortgage by shortening they're actually getting less, they're paying less. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I'm not going to use the
that's
verbiage.
Okay. That's
wrong.
all right. So this person that I'm helping currently, one of the people I'm currently helping, is on a 30-year fixed. He is refinancing to a 15-year fixed, and the rate difference, there is a pretty good size difference between the two, and his payment literally will be just a smidgen less than what he's paying currently.
I mean, how unusual is that?
That's that's the beauty of the rates being so low right now.
So somebody comes in, I know I'm part of many, I've been talking to you for, hearing your numbers and stuff, but somebody comes to you, you look at the whole picture. You can do.
Absolutely.
So and things are good here in Hamilton County?
Things are great in Hamilton County.
But you do otherwise?
I can do the entire United States.
Oh, the entire
except Texas, New York, and Alaska.
But it would definitely behoove, is that the good word?
That's a good word.
Okay.
I love that word.
Behoove
love that word.
them to our watchers, our listeners, our followers, whatever we want to call them. It would definitely behoove them to call you or email you at d.clark@salin.com.
Yes.
And then you can help them figure out what the best route is to go. We have other things I know that, and if you weren't in on the first the first part of our show, we're going to visit a little bit more with Deb before we're done today. We're going to take a short break.
I do want to say,
yes, ma'am.
We don't just do refinances. We do purchases.
That's what
we work with real estate agents, builders. Matter of fact, Salin Bank has the best construction perm loan that is out in the market today.
Okay, so it is a good idea to make a call or email Deb and get in touch with her and find out. And I've worked with her long enough to know that she is not going to try to sell you something that does not make sense for you, and she knows what's going on. There was something I was going to say. Oh, but it's all about relationships, isn't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, I know that you're going out there and you're having lunch with real estate agents and you're making people, and we want to help Salin Bank too, and we want to help Deb. So we'll be back in just a few minutes after this break and a little bit more with Deb Clark.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Paid to Save is a cool new way to save big right now at merchants without paying anything up front. By now, you've probably seen daily deal sites and are wondering, how is Paid to Save different? With Paid to Save, you can reserve a deal without buying anything up front. You can redeem your deal right now, and you'll save 50%, 80%, or even 100%. Here's how it works. Simply launch our iPhone or Android app to find a great deal. Lock it in to reserve it just for you. And check in before the deal ends to redeem it and save big. That's it. Just incredible deals right now. And what makes Paid to Save even better is that merchants love it too. Since they can control the amount, the number available, and timing of the deals, they are happy to serve you when you come through their door. So grab the Paid to Save app from the Android Market or App Store and start saving big and exploring the world around you.
We are back, and I am Jennifer Johnson, Jennifer to the rescue, and I am a lyrical appreciation expert. And what do? Well, I help you connecting good people I know and celebrating relationships and all those good things, and with gratitude and cards, gifts, all that kind of stuff. I've met some wonderful people in my life and in my career of sales and odds and ends of a number of other things. But Deb is one of my good friends, and I brought her on, and you've been sharing a lot of things about, this is Deb Clark with Salin Bank, and she is a mortgage consultant with Salin Bank. But you also have a lot of other good things. I know Deb Clark is not just mortgage lady.
Oh,
She is involved in a number of things. And I think one of the main, Boone County Habitat for Humanity.
Yes.
And maybe tell us a little bit about that. How'd you get involved? And
That is a case. I was at a Christmas party for realtors.
there you go.
Yep, there you go.
Networking.
Sat down next to a female realtor, and we got to chatting, and the next thing you know, her husband shot his little head around her and said, "Hey, would you want to be involved with Habitat? Let's sit down next week." And as they say, Steve got me on the committees, and away we went. So I'm currently on the family selection committee, so I work with families that apply to Habitat, and also on the board of directors. Couple of things.
Yes.
It's quite interesting. I did not realize this until I started working with them. The Habitat mortgages are 20-year interest-free mortgages. So they pay no interest on those mortgages. That's awesome. And Boone County Habitat for Humanity was the very first Habitat chapter in the United States that built a house 2 years ago for a wounded warrior.
Oh.
We did not build it in conjunction with the Wounded Warrior program, but we actually partnered with them, and we did this in advance over by Thorntown. And just a really great guy. Jesse and his family are just doing great, and it was the most heartwarming experience I have ever been involved in, and it was awesome. When we found out it was the first one in the country, we couldn't believe it. There is now a Wounded Warrior Habitat home being built in Evansville. There's another one being built in the northern part of the state, and it's my understanding that chapters throughout the country are now partnering with Habitat and the Wounded Warriors together to do this. So it was really interesting.
So somebody like myself who maybe doesn't, what does Habitat for Humanity do? I mean, you've kind of said it, but I'm just saying in a nutshell, what do they do?
The purpose of Habitat is to provide adequate housing for low to moderate income families. These are families that, for whatever reason, there is just no way they would ever be able to afford a home. The average monthly payment, including taxes and homeowners insurance for a Habitat family, is around $450 a month. Wow. So that's really awesome. A lot of times our lots are donated to us through people that have passed and they've left it in their estate, or we buy them quite inexpensively due to tax sales or whatever. And for example, remember the tornadoes over in Lebanon last year? We have a couple of lots that we have picked up that way where the homes were severely damaged and the owners were like, I don't want to mess with this, and here, you can have it. So so we're tearing down and then you rebuild from there. So these are new homes. They're not rehabilitated homes. These are brand new homes for people. They get to choose their carpet, their flooring colors, the color of their siding, and we have a lot of donations, time, money, materials, and it's a lot of fun. Go out there and hammer a nail, and I'm not very handy at all. I'm a klutz. I'll be the first to admit it. So I do a lot of picking up and sweeping and here, would you like a bottle of water type things. But
So
those are all things that
everybody needs to, I mean, there's always something somebody can do, I suppose, is what
Correct.
the point of that is.
And
It's
the person who is obtaining the house has to provide 200 hours of sweat equity.
I've heard
So,
that too,
yep.
but I didn't know. Okay, coming from you. So that is, I can tell you're very passionate about that.
Yes.
And they could definitely email you or call you at the stuff on the
That's
board
right.
there on
Right,
the screen.
that's how they can reach me.
And what other interests do you have? I know you're I'll let you. I don't even know. Is it a tennis?
I am an avid tennis player.
Where do you play you do matches? You have matches.
I have matches.
Where are they at?
Well, they're all over the place.
Oh, so it's wherever you're part. Okay, but okay, so you're on a circuit, like?
No, oh good gosh, no.
Jeez, well, you can say that on my show. I
I
mean,
know, but
you're
no,
not.
I just play in several leagues. You know,
Cool.
I play in a mixed doubles league on Sunday
leagues.
nights.
That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah, but and I only play doubles. My age shows too much if I try to play singles. I'm not into
You're
singles.
not. No, come on. Forget that age.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
Your knees tell you after a while that you have an age.
Yeah.
And but anyway, I play in a couple of women's leagues in the summer and then play in the winter as well. But had the same partner for 14 years. She's got knee troubles now too.
For 14
For
years
14
you've been
years.
doing. Well, that would make sense.
Yeah.
It's a tough sport, and
It is. It is tough, you know, because in Indiana you mostly have what's called hard court because you play indoors a lot because of the weather and that kind of thing. So not a lot of clay courts around here. We have some, but not a lot.
So if you want information on the tennis,
Or if you want to play
leagues,
tennis.
if you want to play tennis, or if you just want to go out and have a drink.
Yeah. All right, that brings us to the last part here. I know that's where you were going with
Well,
this.
we're all about relationships.
Yes, we're all
on the
about
show.
relationships, and we're all about getting out there and meeting
That's it.
people.
That's it.
But no, I told Jennifer I was going to mention this, and
We've
she
got
laughed.
just
and
a
I
minute
think,
or so to
I know.
share.
I think she thought I was joking, but I am single.
What a catch! Really, what a catch!
I am a catch. I'm an awesome person, as you have
Yes,
stood
I
here.
know.
I'm lovely. She told you. I'm
She's lovely and awesome.
But yeah, I am a single person, and you know.
So they
open to
could.
that.
He took the phone number off. And the website. But Deb Clark is a good friend
There it is.
of mine.
It's back
You can
on.
always reach me at Jennifer
Yeah.
to the rescue. It's not up there. JenniferToTheRescue.com. Or you could certainly inquire about mortgages
Yes,
and
absolutely.
all of that with d.clark@salin.com. Your phone number's up there. We are all about relationships, and I always try to leave with some kind of an upbeat message. And I was actually looking I think what I'm doing here and what Jim is always doing here is being grateful and giving back. So my upbeats are: when you are grateful, fear disappears and abundance appears. That's an Anthony Robbins. And feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it.
Oh, that's good.
So those are good.
Those
I
are
mean,
very
look
good.
at what you're giving back to the communities that you've lived in, and the knowledge, the education, and we thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And you can, I think we're going way over, but you know what I'm going to share? You need to check out Jennifer to the Rescue on RadioNext.tv tomorrow afternoon, every Thursday. I shouldn't say tomorrow, it's every Thursday. It might not be tomorrow when you see this. And it's on the Cool Groove. I get groovy when I say that. Thank you very much for coming. We'll see you soon.